Some Medicaid data will soon be available to ICE agents. The Trump administration argues actions like this are necessary for their crackdown on immigration.
America, we just got some breaking news that's going to send some shockwaves through sanctuary cities across the country. The Trump administration has approved a massive data sharing agreement that gives ICE access to personal information from nearly 79 million Medicaid recipients, including home addresses, ethnicities, birthdays, and social security numbers. This is all part of Trump's efforts to arrest 3,000 undocumented immigrants daily. But here's what's going to make Democrats lose their mind. DHS says that this is an initiative to ensure illegal aliens are not receiving Medicaid benefits that are meant for law-abiding Americans. Finally, somebody checking to make sure tax-funded healthcare isn't going to people who shouldn't even be here.
Major development in the Trump administration's immigration crackdown. ICE is being granted access to personal information from Medicaid recipients.
What is up, guys? Tyson Dela Cruz here. Thank you so much for rocking with me. This is exactly what we voted for. No more games, no more sanctuary policies, and no more allowing illegal immigrants to drain resources meant for American citizens. Let me break down this absolutely massive operation. According to the Associated Press, federal immigration officers now have access to home addresses, people's ethnicities, their birthdays, and even their social security numbers for nearly 79 million people enrolled in Medicaid.
In its continued effort to arrest 3,000 undocumented immigrants daily, the Trump administration will now start sharing the personal information of nearly 79 million Medicaid enrollees with ICE.
The Department of Homeland Security described it as an initiative to ensure that illegal aliens are not receiving Medicaid benefits that are meant for law-abiding Americans. Think about this. We're talking about nearly 8 million records that ICE can now research to identify people who are in our country illegally and using benefits meant for Americans. Now, here's some important details about how this system works.
Now, there is a catch to the new agreement. According to the Associated Press, ICE agents will not be allowed to download any of the information, and they can only access the data between 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Fridays until September 9th. This agreement is between the Department of Homeland Security and the Centers of Medicaid and Medicaid Services. ICE's main goal is to locate undocumented citizens who have previously or currently using the program.
According to the Associated Press, which also reports ICE will use this information to track down immigrants in the U.S. illegally. DHS told us it's keeping President Trump's promise to protect Medicaid.
Federal law says anyone in the U.S. illegally cannot enroll in Medicaid, but all states must offer emergency Medicaid, but often used by immigrants. Only 7 states, including California, allow non-U.S. citizens to enroll in regular Medicaid. Of course, health providers are losing their mind over the common sense policy. Dr. Edgar Chavez, who runs Universal Community Health Centers, is claiming this will create a public health crisis because people will end up in the ER.
Essentially, this is a public health crisis that we're going to have because a lot of people are going to end up in the ER, which is where we were trying to avoid.
Dr. Chavez says recent immigration rates have already kept patients away. He claims that at least 20% of his patients have stopped showing up.
I have people who have very advanced diabetes and hypertension who, and they're undocumented, and I got them to get Medi-Cal.
But here's what Dr. Chavez doesn't want to admit. These people shouldn't be using American taxpayer-funded healthcare in the first place. If they're here illegally, they need to go back to their home country and get healthcare there. Healthcare providers are claiming this is a huge breach of trust because they told patients that their data would never be shared with the federal government. But that agreement falls apart when you realize these people are breaking federal law by being here illegally.
We got a lot of those people to join Medi-Cal, right? We told them, trust us. This data is never going to make it to the federal government. This data is not going to be shared with anybody. And so now there's a huge breach of trust.
Immigration attorney Radlin Mendoza is worried that this could deter folks from receiving medical care, not bringing their kids to the hospital or treating them because of fear that they're going to be picked up by ICE.
Radlin Mendoza from Gardner Mendoza Immigration Law says she has several concerns with the agreement. For one, she feels it could deter folks from receiving medical care when they need it.
Not bringing their kids to the hospital for treatment because of the fear that they're going to get picked up by ICE.
But here's the reality. If you're in the country illegally, you should be concerned with being picked up by ICE. That's called consequences for breaking the law. California attorney Rob Bonta is calling this reckless and unprecedented weaponization of private sensitive data of Medicare recipients. But let's be honest about what's really happening here. Senator Adam Shifty Schiff is claiming the massive transfer of personal data of millions of Medicare recipients should alarm every American. But why should law-abiding Americans be alarmed about the efforts to find people who are breaking breaking immigration law. Immigration advocates are worried. Listen to what they have to say.
So eventually what could end up happening is someone might transfer information about an immigrant a U.S. citizen with a Latino name, and all of a sudden now I have ICE officers in my house, even though I was born here, only because my name is Raul Lopez.
But here's what cracks me up about all this privacy hysteria. If people are so worried about the government having your personal information, where was this outrage when Amazon, Facebook, Google, and your phone company have been collecting and selling your personal information for years? Amazon knows what you buy, when you buy it, and where you live. Facebook knows your political views, your relationship, and tracks you across the internet. Google knows everywhere you go, everything you search for, and reads your emails. Your phone company knows everyone you call, text, and your exact location 24/7. But suddenly when ICE wants to check if people are using taxpayer-funded healthcare or here legally, that's a privacy violation. Give me a break. These same people posting outrage on Facebook and tweeting from their iPhones have already given away more personal data than ICE could ever access. Legal experts are reminding people of their rights. Even if ICE has access to your personal information, they cannot do anything without a warrant from a judge ordering their arrest or search their home. Immigration attorney Radlin Mendoza admits that not all people found through this data will be deported immediately. It depends on their criminal history and whether they can request protection while detained.
Another concern Mendoza has is how this new agreement could affect those who are not yet documented but are going through the legal process to become a citizen.
They're doing all the right things. And, they're getting arrested at their immigration hearings. They're getting arrested at their immigration interviews.
But here's what she's really worried about. People who are going through the legal process to become a citizen, but you're still here illegally. If you're here illegally, even while you're applying for legal status, you're still breaking the law. The majority of the people identified through this system will still go before an immigration judge while they're being detained, where they can pursue protection and request bond. The difference here is they'll be detained instead of released into American communities. Of course, sanctuary states like California are already planning to resist this common sense policy. Only 7 states, including California, allow non-U.S. citizens to enroll in Medicaid. But federal law requires emergency rooms to treat anyone in a medical emergency regardless of immigration status.
Undocumented immigrants and even some documented immigrants do not qualify for basic federal Medicaid. However, they do qualify for emergency Medicaid.
This creates a massive loophole where people can get expensive emergency care at taxpayer expenses instead of preventative care. But the solution isn't to give illegal immigrants full Medicaid benefits. The solution is to enforce immigration laws so they're not here in the first place. When ICE has to reach a daily quota of around 3,000 people per day, they need efficient ways to locate people who are here illegally. This data sharing agreement provides exactly that capability. This Medicaid data sharing is part of a broader Trump administration strategy to make immigration enforcement more efficient and effective. Instead of random raids that might catch a few people, ICE can now target individuals who are definitely in the system illegally. This agreement runs until September 9th, giving ICE several months to identify and locate people who are using American taxpayer-funded benefits while being in the country illegally.
And according to the Associated Press, immigration officials wouldn't be able to download this data. Instead, they would have access to it Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m.
The restriction on access, no downloading, limited hours, temporary duration, shows this is a targeted enforcement tool, not a fishing expedition. ICE can search for specific individuals, but can't mass download the entire database. This is exactly the kind of smart, targeted enforcement that Americans voted for when they elected President Trump. America, this Medicaid data sharing agreement perfectly illustrates the difference between the Trump administration and the Biden administration's approach to immigration enforcement. Biden allowed millions of illegal immigrants to drain American resources while ignoring the law. Trump is using all available data to enforce existing immigration law. The hysteria from Democrats and immigration advocates reveal their true priorities. They care more about protecting people who are here illegally than ensuring American taxpayer resources go to American citizens and legal residents. And let's be real about this privacy outrage. Amazon, Facebook, Google, and your phone company already have more personal data on you than ICE can ever access through the Medicaid agreement. But nobody's protesting outside of Facebook headquarters about privacy violations. If you're here legally, you have nothing to worry about. If you're here illegally, you should be worried, because that's what accountability looks like. ICE still needs warrants to search homes and make arrests, but now they have a better tool to identify people who shouldn't be using American benefits. This is exactly what we voted for. Smart, targeted immigration enforcement that protects American resources for American citizens and legal residents. The days of treating our immigration law like suggestions are over. Let me know what you guys think about this. Drop it down in the comment section down below. Smash the like button if you kindly would. Share, subscribe, and as always, guys, I'll catch you on the next one.